Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Today we're taking a look at the Huntress. We're going to be showcasing her abilities, some good items to get with her, and then maybe some tips and tricks or some gameplay at the end. So first of all, the one thing that's unique about the Huntress that no other character has is her primary ability. So you notice when I'm looking at people, it kind of locks onto them, and that's how she attacks. So you don't actually have to aim; she can be locked on, and she can also shoot while she's sprinting. So I can shoot regular, then while sprinting, I can also shoot, which no other character can do. So that's kind of what's unique about the Huntress, is that she can lock onto enemies, and it's done automatically, and she doesn't really have to aim, and she can do it while sprinting, which makes her extremely good character to build mobility. She don't really have to worry about aiming or anything. Now the only downside to this is that sometimes you might be trying to hit a certain enemy, like a boss for example, and it'll lock onto something else. But there's ways that we can get around that as far as dealing damage to it. You're going to deal damage with items. So that's her primary ability. Now her secondary is pretty cool. It's a bouncing attack. So if I throw it, it'll actually bounce between multiple enemies, doing damage each time. And it's got a pretty short cooldown too. So let's see, let's throw another script right here. So boom, just killed people there. So her bouncing ability is also pretty awesome and great for on-hit stuff to proc multiple times. Now her shift ability kind of goes hand in hand with her ability to sprint and lock on enemies as far as ability is concerned, because it is a dash. So if I hit shift, we teleport forward a pretty good distance. So that helps with mobility and able to get around the map faster while doing damage on the fly, and makes the Huntress one of the most mobile characters in the game. And her kit's completely built for it too. Now finally is her special ability, which is a arrow rain ability. Let's wait for a few more enemies to spawn here so we can showcase it. Basically, when you hit R, or whatever you use for your special ability, you'll fly up into the air, have this targeting thing, and then you left click, it'll bring down a rain of arrows that do a ton of damage to people. So, yeah, that's pretty much her whole kit. As far as powers are concerned, again, she's super focused on mobility more than anything else. She attacks pretty fast, and yeah. Let's look at her items. So, since she just has a single basic attack, one item that's really great with her are crowbars. If you get enough of them, then you can do some serious damage right off the bat. So let's go ahead and grab a crowbar now. Let's see if we can find some free items. Also, you know, attack speed's always great. Bleed. Gasoline helps, because since you can't shoot specific enemies, the gasoline kind of helps just kill everyone in the area. That way, as long as you're attacking somebody nearby, you know, everyone's going to get damaged from the gasoline. Same thing, you know, with like the ukulele. I would grab some ukuleles to help deal damage to people in the area. That way, if you're not attacking the person that you want to attack with the lock on, you can still do some damage to people around you. There's our R again. There we go. Now I'm actually going to end this run right here because I want to showcase some of the archer's secondary abilities, because honestly I think all three of her unlocks are the best abilities for her. So let's exit to menu. Go back into a single player game. And if you go over to the loadout, you can see she has 3 different unlockable powers. First of which is Flurry. So instead of shooting one arrow that does 150% damage, she shoots 3 arrows that do 100% damage each. And when you critical strike an enemy, it fires 6 arrows, all doing 100% damage. Now, it is a slower attack speed, but once you build up your attack speed, it's just so much better of a power. You proc on hit so more often, and it's just overall fantastic. A much better primary ability. Now, in the utility, we have Phase Blink. Now, this is just kind of a preference thing. Do you want to have three shorter distant blinks or one long distant blink? I prefer the short distant blink. It just helps with her mobility even more. Be more precise with your blinking, and you can do it more often to help dodge attacks. So I like the Phase Blink personally. And the Ballista is far more accurate and does much more damage than the Arrow Rain. So the Arrow Rain does 225% damage per second. This does 900% damage 3 times in an instant. And you can target the 3 shots you have with that to different enemies if you want. So let's showcase that a little bit. Here we go. So right off the bat, same thing. You can still lock down to enemies. You can still fire while sprinting, but when you shoot 3 arrows at a slower attack rate. So you're essentially doing twice the damage, but at a slower attack rate. But when you critical strike, not only are you doing double damage because of the critical strike, but you're also doing double damage because you'll be shooting 6 arrows instead of 3. So let's actually try to get a little bit of critical strike so we can showcase that. Our right click is still the same. Okay, and then our shift is the triple blink, so it's a little bit shorter distance, but we can do it multiple times, 3 charges. And then I'll showcase the R in a second. So let's get some glasses so maybe we have a chance of critical striking. So you guys can see what that looks like. Okay. Let's see, here's some more chests over here. Critical strike. There we go. See, when I critical strike, it shoots 6 shots, and they all do double damage. So once you get 100% crit, you're just melting enemies. Now for the R, it's very different compared to the Arrow Rain. So when you press R, you still jump up. Now you have this targeting system, and you can shoot for 900% damage, and it just melts enemies and bosses. So I prefer this kit, this loadout on the Huntress more than her basic loadout. So definitely recommend getting those unlocks for her to get that, especially the primary ability. And then you always just want to build critical strike as often as you can. Another strategy is to just get the equipment that gives you 100% critical strike for a short time, and then just use that when you need to do the most damage. And then that way you can build other items instead of just critical strike early on. I've seen that done as well. But yeah, that's the Huntress. Again, with this loadout, you want to build critical strike and just tons of on-hit abilities. You'll be shooting 6 times every time you attack. And again, her attack speed is really low, so you want to build some more attack speed to help get that up a little bit as well. So yeah, those are the items I would get with the Huntress. Now, if you're playing without the new loadout and just a single arrow shot, again, you want to build those crowbars up. That way you're hitting really hard initially. And then just build mobility and with a single shot arrow, you can also build on hit and stuff too, because it just has a high rate of attack, and you're gonna need to do lots of damage to enemies around you. So getting things like the will-o-wisp and the gasoline and the ukuleles to help just do more area damage as a whole is also really good. So yeah, there's the archer for you. I don't really play her too often. I pretty much just played her enough to unlock everything, and that was it. But, there you go. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you have any comments or questions, you can leave them in the comments down below, and leave a like and subscribe if you haven't already, and we will see you guys tomorrow.